have to stay here the whole time. If you haven't noticed, I'm 9 months pregnant, and baby Liam decided to stay in for me, so I'm very, very grateful for that. Right? Okay, we have a wonderful performance tonight. Cast B is performing. This is more of my advanced kids. They've worked so hard. The show is so awesome. And isn't our set beautiful? My wonderful husband came in, worked with the kids, and this is what we got. So I'm so forever grateful for that as well. We are videotaping tonight. There's a camera directly behind you guys, and there's a camera off to the side. Please, please do not stand up during the performance so we can get a good video of these amazing kids. Okay? Thank you guys. Enjoy the show.
First lots of you arriving in Jim's boat, another lot not far behind.
Good evening, Fred.
Good evening, Miss Rogers.
Is that the boat?
Yes.
Oh dear, already? Have you remembered everything?
I think so. Lemons, slip soles, cream, eggs, tomatoes, and butter. That's all, wasn't it?
That's right. There's so much to do. I don't even know where to start. No nice good morning. All these guests are here today.
Calm down, everything should straighten out. Looks nice, don't it, Fred?
Looks neat enough for me. Kind of bare. But rich folks like this is bare, it seems.
Rich folks are strange.
And strange for the gentleman he was that's built this place. Which will really a lot of money on it, he did. And then gets tired of it and puts the whole thing up for sale.
Beats me why the owners wanted to buy it, living on an island.
Oh, come on, man. We'll take all this stuff out into the kitchen. They'll be ready to eat now.
Hey, can I sleep quiet? And it's just for a drink? As well as like some others I know.
That'll be in Jim. I'll be getting along. There's 2 gentlemen right in my car, I understand.
Fred, I shall walk 5 miles in the morning, 8 pints of milk. Remember?
Right.
Don't forget the oil for the engine, Fred. I gotta let you jump for tomorrow. Or have the lights running out.
It was held down out the railway. It's at the station now. I'll bring it by first thing tomorrow.
Now give a hand at this luggage, will you?
Right.
I forgot to give you the list of guests, Tom.
Thanks, little girl. Doesn't look a very classy lot to me. Miss Claythorne. She'll probably be the secretary.
I don't know much of secretaries, worse than hospital nurses, and them giving themselves airs and grace and looking down on the servants.
Oh, stop grousing at home and come on to that lovely up-to-date expensive kitchen of yours.
So many fangled gadgets for my fancy.
So, this is it.
How perfectly lovely.
Miss Claythorne.
You're Rogers?
Yes. Good evening, miss.
Good evening, Rogers. Would you please take my luggage and Captain Walmart's?
Very good, miss.
You've been here before?
No, but I've heard a lot about the place.
From Mr. and Mrs. Owen?
No. Oh, Johnny. How long? It's a sad and poignant story.
A love story?
Yes, ma'am. Saddest of all. He was with the old boy, fell in love with the famous Lily Logan. Married her, bought this island, and built this place for her.
Sounds most romantic.
Poor Johnny, he thought by cutting her off from Westworld without even telephone as an communication, he'd get older.
But of course the fair Lily tired of her ivory tower and escaped.
And went back to Wall Street, made for millions. Place is sold.
Here we are. Well, I ought to find Mrs. Owen. The others will be up in a minute.
It would be very rude to leave you here all by myself.
Would it? Oh. Well, I wonder where she is.
She'll come along when she's ready. While we're waiting, you mind if I have a drink? I'm very dry.
Of course you could.
Certainly more for that steep climb. It's yours.
Oh, no, thank you. Not on duty.
Good secretary's never off duty.
Really? This is exciting.
What is?
All this, the smell of the sea, the gulls, the beach, and this lovely house. I'm going to enjoy myself.
I think you are. I think we both are. Here's to you. You're very lovely.
Oh, where's Mrs. Owen?
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Owen won't be down from London until tomorrow, miss. I thought you knew.
Tomorrow? But...
Here's a list of the guests arriving tonight, miss, if you'd like to have it. The second boat's load's just arriving.
Thank you. How awful. I say you will be sweet and help me, won't you?
I'll move from your side.
Thank you. It seems rather silly to have brought only us in the first boat and all the rest in the second.
That, I'm afraid, was by design, not accident.
Design? What do you mean?
I suggested but meant that there was no need to wait for my passengers. That 5 shillings soon start up the engine.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
They're not very exciting, are they?
Well, I thought the young man was rather nice looking.
Callow. Definitely callow. And very, very young.
I suppose you think a man in his 30s is more attractive?
I don't think, my darling. I know.
Wizard place we got here.
Oh, I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Oh, too bad.
May I introduce Captain Lombard, Mr.
Marston. Anthony Marston.
Have a drink?
Oh, thank you.
What do you have? Gin, whiskey, sherry?
Whiskey, I think.
Wonderful place you have here. I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Say when.
Oh, wizard.
How are you?
My name's Lombard, Mr.
Dix.
Mr. Davis, Mr. Marston.
Marston, pleased to meet you. Thanks, Mr. Lombard. Don't mind if I do. Bit of a stiff climb up here, though. What a view and what a height. Reminds me of South Africa, this place.
Does it? What part?
Oh, Natal. Durban.
Really?
Well, here's the temperance. Do you, know South Africa?
Me? No.
That's where I come from. That's my Natal state.
Interesting country, I should think.
Finest country in the world, sir. Gold, silver, diamonds, oranges, anything a man could want. I'm gonna lay out for you, beard skip.
How do you do?
Oh, General Mackenzie, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow. May I introduce Captain Lombard, Mr. Marston, and Mr. Dix.
Whiskey and soda, sir?
Thanks.
Are you in service? Formerly, in King's After my force. You came for me in peacetime, Chuck.
Good evening.
Where is Miss Owen? Oh, Miss Brent, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow. Indeed extraordinary. Did she miss the train? I expect so. Won't you have something? May I introduce Captain Lombard, Mr. Marston, General Mackenzie. I believe you all met on the boat, and Mr. Davis. May I take your case?
Do let me get you something? Dry martini, glass of sherry, whiskey and soda?
I never touch alcohol.
You never touch alcohol.
I suppose you know, young man, that you left us standing there on the wharf.
Oh, I'm afraid, Miss Brent, I was to blame for that. I wanted
It
to...
seems to me the most extraordinary that Miss Owen isn't here to receive her guests.
Perhaps she's just the type of person who can't help missing trains. Not at all, excuse.
Not at all. Miss Owen isn't police like that.
Perhaps it was her husband's fault.
She has not a husband. I should like to go ride with him.
Yes, of course. I'll take you there.
You'll find Mrs. Rogers upstairs, miss. She'll show you the way.
I'm afraid our host and hostess haven't arrived yet, sir. The name is Lombard.
Mine's Warbrick. How do you do?
How do you do? Have a drink, sir?
Yes, please, whiskey.
How are you? Dix. I say, wonderful place you have here. Quite unique.
As you say, quite unique.
Your drink, sir.
Old Badger Berkeley rolled up yet?
What did you say?
Badger Berkeley, he wrote me into this whole show. When's he coming?
I don't think he's coming. Nobody has the name Berkeley.
That dirty old double crosser. He's let me down. Well, pretty wizard I am. Rather, wizard girl, that secretary. She had to lighten things up a bit. I say, old man, how about dressing up for dinner if there's time?
Let's go and explore.
Oh, wizard.
Things are a bit at 6s and 7s with Owens not turning them.
Tricky what? I said, wizard place for a holiday. What?
Aren't you going to sit down?
Well, to tell you the truth, you seem to be my chair.
Oh, I didn't know you were part of the family. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not that exact. To tell you the truth, I've never been here before. But you see, I live at the Benson Club. For the last 10 years. My seat is usually just about there. I can't get used to sitting anywhere else.
Becomes a bit of a habit.
Yes, it certainly does. Thank you. Well, it's not quite as good as the club, but it's a nice chair. To tell you the truth, I was a bit surprised when I got this invitation. I've had anything of the kind for well over 4 years. Very nice of them, I thought.
Can I have your keys, sir?
Is Lady Constance and Colmington coming here? Can you tell me?
Lady Constance Comington? I don't think so, sir. Unless she's coming down with Mr. and Mrs. Owens.
Oh.
Me, sir. Can I have your keys, sir?
Oh, no thanks. I'll unpack for myself.
Dinner is at 8 o'clock, sir. Shall I show you to your room?
Please.
Here, sir. Alcohol waters.
How are you? Davis today.
Mine's Armstrong.
Dr. Armstrong, I believe.
Yes.
Thought so. Never forget a face.
Don't tell me I've already forgotten one of my patients.
No, nothing like that, but I won't call you poor Jimmy extra evidence.
Really? Are you interested in the law?
Well, you see, I'm from South Africa. Naturally, the legal processes of this country are bound to interest Colombian people.
Yes, of course.
Come here.
No, I don't know.
Mind if I do? Mine's empty.
None of it.
Been having a look around this island. It's a wonderful place, isn't it?
Yes. I thought as I was coming over to the mainland, what a hateful peace this was.
Too peaceful for some, I dare say.
Wonderfully restful, wonderful for the nerves. I'm a nerve specialist, you know?
Yes, I heard that. Did you come down by train?
No, I motored down, dropped by an patient on the way. Great improvement, wonderful response.
That's part of 200 miles, isn't it? How long did it take you?
Oh, I didn't hurry. I never hurried, bad for the nerves. Some man on the signal nearly drove me into a ditch near Ansbury, shot past me about 80 miles an hour. Disgraceful bit of driving. I'd have liked to have had his number.
Yes, and if only more people took the numbers of these young roadhogs.
Yes, and you must excuse me, I must have a word with Mr. Owen.
Oh, but Mr. Owen isn't coming down.
You're right, sir.
Yes, take my hat, will you? What time is supper?
Dinner is at 8 o'clock, sir. In about a quarter of an hour. I think just will be optional tonight.
Got a good place here.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Been here long?
Just under a week, sir.
Is that all? So I don't suppose you know much of the crowd that's here then?
No, sir.
All those friends of the family?
I really couldn't say, sir.
Oh, well. Oh, Rogers.
Yes, sir?
Do you think you could bring a bottle of beer and some sandwiches in my room tonight? I get no appetite with this old cedar.
I'll see what I can do, sir.
I see one was bright like Rogers. Take your turn.
I'll show you, sir.
I could do with the wash and brush up shit away.
You'll pardon my stuttering, sir. It's just a bit of a stressful night.
Oh, there you are, Rogers. You gotta clean these dirty glasses. You're always using the dirty one to me. Here I am with a 4-course dinner in my hands and no one to help me. You might as well give me a hand with the dishing up. Who's that you're talking to, by the way?
Davis, South African gentleman. No class if you ask me, and no money either.
I don't like them. I don't like any of them. Much like that bunch we had in boarding house, I'd say.
Davis gives out he's a millionaire or something. You should see his underwear. Cheap as they make him.
Well, as I said, it's not treating us right. All these visitors are having today, and the maids? The maids are not coming until tomorrow. What do they think we are?
No. Anyway, the money's good.
So it ought to be. Can't be going to service again, unless the money was good.
Well, it is good, so I don't understand what you're going on about.
Well, I can tell you this, Rogers. I'm not staying any place where I'll put upon cooking my business. I'm a good cook.
First rate, old girl.
But the kitchen's my place, and the housework, none of my business. All these guests, I've got a good mind to put my hat, coat on, and walk out now.
back to Plymouth.
You can't do that, old girl.
Why not? Who says I can? I'd like to know.
Because you're on an island, old girl. Had you forgotten that?
Yes, and I don't know if I fancy being on an island.
Don't know that I do either, into that. Just looking out to the pub, or going to the pictures. Oh well, it's double waging on account of the difficulties, and there's plenty of beer in the house.
That's all you think about. Beer.
Now, stop your nagging. Go to the kitchen or your dinner will be spoiled.
It'll be spoiled anyway. I expect everybody's gonna be late. Wasted on them. Thank goodness I didn't make myself late. Oh, dinner won't be a minute, miss. Just a question of the Sheila.
Is everything all right, Rogers? Can you manage between the two of you?
Yes, thank you, miss. The missus talks a lot, but she gets it done.
What a lovely evening.
Yes, indeed. The weather seems very settled.
How plainly one can hear the sea.
A pleasant sound.
Not a breath of wind, and deliciously warm. Not like England at all.
I thought you might feel a little uncomfortable in that dress.
Oh, no.
It's rather tight, isn't it?
Oh, I don't think so.
You'll excuse me, my dear, but you're a young girl and you've got your living to earn.
Yes.
A well-bred woman's not like her secretary to appear flashy. It looks, as though you were trying to attract the attention of the opposite sex.
And would you say I do attract them?
That is besides the point. A girl who deliberately sets out to get the attention of men won't be likely to keep her job long.
Surely that depends on who she's working for.
Really, Miss Claythorne?
Don't you think you're being a little unkind?
Young people nowadays behave in the most disgusting fashion.
Disgusting.
Yes, low-backed evening dresses, lying half naked on beaches, all this so-called sunbathing, and excuse the most immodest conduct, nothing more. Familiarity, Christian names, drinking, cocktails, and look at the young men nowadays, decadent. Look at the young Marston. What good is he? That Captain Lombard.
What do you oppose to in Captain Lombard? I see this man with a very, very interesting life.
That man is an adventurer. All this younger generation is no good at all.
You don't like the youth, I see.
What do you mean?
I was just remarking that you don't like young people.
And is there any reason why I should?
Oh no. Just seems you must miss an awful lot.
You're very impertinent.
I'm sorry, but that's just what I think.
The world will never improve to a standout modesty.
Quite pathological.
What did you say?
Nothing.
What about the old boy? He looks right like a tortoise, don't you think so?
All tortoises look like tortoises. They have that venomous way of guarding their heads now. Mr. Justice Wargrave is no exception.
I hadn't realized he was a judge.
Oh, yes. He's always known for saying more innocent people to their deaths than anyone in England. Hello, you. Have you two met each other? Mr. Armstrong, Miss Clifton? I'm sorry I said that old boy.
Yes, I heard you. And so did he, I think.
Oh, Sir Lawrence.
Miss Brent, isn't it?
There's something I wanted to ask you.
Remarkably fine minutes.
Absolute wizard car, a supercharged sports from Lady Carlotta. Don't see many of them on the road. I can get over 100 out of her.
Did you come in from London?
Yes, 208 miles and I did it in a bit over 4 hours. Too many cars though to keep it up. Touched 90 going over Salisbury bad. Not too bad, eh?
I think you passed me on the road.
Did I?
You nearly drove me into the ditch.
Oh, sorry.
If I would have had your number, I would have reported you.
But you were fiddling along in the middle of the road.
Fiddling? Me fiddling?
Oh well. What about a drink?
I agree. Will you have one, Miss Claythorne?
Oh, no, thank you.
Good evening, Miss Owens.
Why, Mrs. Owen,
You'd make for the most attractive wife for a wealthy businessman.
do you always flirt so outrageously?
Always.
Oh, well, now we know.
Say, what's the old Miss Brett talking to the judge about? She tried to bug him home upstairs.
I don't know. Funny, she seemed so definite that there wasn't a Mr. Owen.
You don't think that Miss Owen, that there isn't, that they aren't.
What? Married, you mean?
Damn shame we didn't know each other. I could have given you a lift down.
Yes, that would have been grand.
I'd like to show you what I can do across Salisbury Plain. Tell you what, maybe we can drive back together.
But I...
It seems damn silly. I have an empty car.
Yes, but she likes the way she's going back and...
Oh, look! Aren't they sweet? Those 10 little plastic Indians! Oh, look! There's the rhyme!
What are you talking about? What figures? What rhyme?
10 little Indians going out to dine. One choked his little self and then there were 9. 9 little Indians sat up very late. One overslept himself and then there were 8.
8 little Indian boys traveling in dinner.
One got left behind, and there were 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, silence, please. You are charged with these indictments that you did respectively and at diverse times commit the following. Edward Armstrong, that you did cause the death of Louisa Mary Cleves. William Henry Bloor, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Landor. Emily Caroline Brandt, that you're responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, that you killed Peter O. V. Hamilton. Philip Lombard, that you were guilty of the deaths of 21 men, members of the East African tribe. John Gordon McKenzie, that you sent your wife's lover, Arthur Richmond, to his death. Anthony James Marston, that you were guilty of the murder of John and Lucy Combs. Thomas Rogers and Ethel Rogers, that you brought about the death of Jennifer Brady. Lawrence John Wargrave, that you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seaton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense?
She'll be alright. She's suspended, that's all. She'll be around in a minute. Get some brandy.
Rogers, go get some brandy.
What was that voice? It sounded...
What's going on here? What kind of practical joke is that?
Where the devil did that voice come from?
Ladies and gentlemen, silence, please.
Oh, shut it off! Shut
You
it
are
off!
charged with these indictments.
A disgraceful and heartless practical joke. You think it's a joke, do you? What else could it be?
Not prepared to give an opinion.
But the devil turned it on though and set it going.
We must inquire into that.
Oh, dear me. Oh, dear me.
Allow me, sir. Allow me, man. If I speak to her. Echo! Echo! It's alright, you hear? Pull yourself together!
You'll be alright now, Miss Rogers. Just a nasty turn.
Did I faint, sir?
Yes.
Is that voice? That awful voice, like a judgment.
Where's the brandy? Drink this, Mrs. Rogers.
I'm alright now. He just gave me a turn.
Gave me a turn too. We think Liza was. I'd like to know.
Who was it that put on the record? Was it you, Rogers?
I was just following orders, sir.
Whose orders?
Mr. Owens.
And Mr. Owen's orders were what exactly?
I was to put on a record in the gramophone in the study. I was to find the records in the drawing there. I was to start with that one, sir. I thought it was just to give y'all some music.
Is there a title?
Title? Yes, sir. It's entitled Swan Song.
This whole thing is preposterous. Preposterous! Slinging around accusations about like this, something must be done about it. And this fellow Owen, whoever he is.
That's just it. Who is he?
We'll get into that very carefully. I suggest you get your wife back to bed, Rogers, and come back here.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you a hand.
Will she be all right, Doctor?
Yes, quite all right.
Don't know about you, but I feel I need another drink.
I agree.
I'll get them.
Preposterous. That's what this is, preposterous.
Whiskey for you, Sir Lawrence?
I should like a glass of water.
Yes, I'll get it. I'll have a bit of whiskey myself.
You'll be alright. I've given her a sedative.
Now then, Doctor, you want a drink after all this?
No, thank you. I don't touch it.
Oh, so you said. How much would you know?
Now, we must get to the bottom of this. What do you know about the Mr. Owen, Rogers?
He owns the place, sir.
I'm aware of that fact, but I want you to tell me what you know exactly about the man.
I can't say, sir. You see, I've never seen him.
What do you mean? You've never seen him?
We've only been here just under a week, sir. My wife and I. We were engaged by the the registry office, the Regina, in Goodman.
That's a high-class firm. You can check on that.
You have the letter?
The letter aging us? Yes, sir.
Go on, be story.
We arrived here on the 4th, sir, just like the letter said. Everything was in order. Plenty of food in stock and everything very nice. Just needed dusting and that.
What next?
Nothing, sir. That is, we got orders to prepare the room for a house party. Hey! Then yesterday, by the morning post, we received another letter saying Mr. and Mrs. Owens might be detained. And if so, we was to do the best we could. Here it is, sir.
Headed Ritz Hotel and typewritten.
Coronation machine number 5. Quiet now. No defects. Inside paper. Most common make. We shan't get much on this. We might try for fingerprints, but it's been handled too much.
Quite the little detective.
Got some fancy Christian names, hasn't he? Ulig, Norman, Owen. Quite a mouthful.
I'm obliged to you, Mr. Marston. You have drawn my attention to a curious and suggestive point. I think the time has come for us to pool our information. I think it would be well for everyone to pool our information regarding our unknown host. We are all his guests. It would be profitable to know how that exactly came to be.
There's something very peculiar about all this. I received a letter with a signature that was not very easy to read. It was purported to be from a woman whom I had met at a certain summer resort 2 or 3 years ago. I took the name to be Ogden. I'm quite certain I've never met or become friendly with anyone of the name Owen.
Do you have the letter, Miss Brent?
Yes, I'll fetch it for you.
Miss Claiborne?
I never actually met Mrs. Owen. I was looking for a holiday post and applied at a secretarial agency, Miss Grenfell's in London. I was offered this post and accepted.
You were never interviewed by a prospective employer?
No. This is the letter.
Indian Islands, Diggle Devon. I received your name from Miss Grenfell's agency. I understand she knows you personally. I shall be glad to pay you the salary you ask, and shall expect you to take up your duties on August 8th. The train is at 12:10 from Paddington, and you will be met at Oak Bridge Station. I enclose you £5 for expenses. Yours truly, Nancy Owen. Mr. Marston.
Don't actually know the Owens. Got a wire from a pal of mine. Badger Berkeley. He told me to roll up here. Surprised me a bit because I had an idea the old horse had gone to Norway. I haven't got the wire.
Dr. Armstrong?
In the circumstances, I may have to admit that my visit here was professional. Mr. Owen contacted me concerned for his wife's health, her nerves to be precise, and wanted a report upon the alarming her, so suggest that my visit be that of a normal guest.
You had no previous acquaintance with the family?
No.
Yet you had no hesitation in obeying summons.
A colleague of mine was mentioned, and a very handsome fee suggested. I was good for a holiday anyway.
Dear Miss Brent, I do hope you remember me. We were together at Belhaven Guest House in August some years ago, and we seem to have so much in common. I'm starting a guest house off my own on an island off the coast of Devon. I think there's really an opening for a place where there is good, plain English cooking and a nice old-fashioned type of person. None of this nudity and gramophone at night. I should be very glad if you can see your way to spending your summer holiday on Indian Island as my guest, of course. I suggest August 8th, 12:40 from Paddington to Oak Ridge. Yours sincerely, UN. Slightly ambiguous. I like the nudity touch. Here is my own decoy letter. It's from an old pal of mine, Lady Constance Colmington. She writes in her usual vague and incoherent ways, urging me to join her, and she refers to her host and hostess in the vaguest of terms. Look here, I've just thought of something. In a minute. Bye. We will get to it one thing at a time, Captain Lombard. General Mackenzie.
Got a letter from this fellow woman. Thought I must have met him at the club sometime. Mentioned some old cronies of mine were to be here, and I hope that excused the informal invitation. Haven't got the letter, I'm afraid.
Captain Lombard? Same sort of thing. Invitation mentioned mutual friends. I haven't got the letter either. Just now we had a somewhat disturbing experience. An apparently disembodied voice spoke to all of us by name, uttering certain definite accusations. We will deal with those accusations presently. However, I'm interested in a minor point. Amongst the names received was one William Henry Bloor. The name William Henry Bloor is not amongst us. The name of Davis was not mentioned. What do you say about that, Mr. Davis?
That's how the magazines, I suppose I better admit. My name isn't Davis.
You're William Henry Bloor?
That's right.
I'll lodge some in that, Mr. Bloor. Not only are you under a false name, but I've noticed tonight that you're a first-class liar. You claim to be from Natal, South Africa. I know Natal and South Africa well. I'm prepared to swear you've never set foot there in your life.
You gentlemen have got me all wrong. I'm an ex-CID man. I was put up to this job.
A copper.
I got my credentials and I can prove it. I run a detective agency in Plymouth. As I said before, I was put onto this job.
By whom?
Why, Mr. Owen sent a very nice money order for expenses. He said I had to come to this house party, pose as a guest. He also sent a list of all your names.
Any reason given?
Why, Mrs. Owens had some valuable jewels. Mrs. Owens might have looked. I don't believe there's any such person.
Your conclusions, I think, are justified. Ulick, Norman Owen, Una and Nancy Owen, each time that is to say, UN Owen. Or, by slight stretch of fancy, unknown.
But it's fantastic. Mad.
Oh yes, we've probably been invited here by a madman, a dangerous homicidal lunatic. Oh my God! Whoever it is that's taken the trouble to find out a great deal about us, a very great deal. And of their knowledge concerning us, they decided to utter certain definite accusations.
Goddamn lies, slanders.
I wish to say this. Our unknown friend accuses me of the murder of one Edward Seton. I remember Seton well. He came to me before trial, June 1930. He was very ably defended. He was charged with the murder of an elderly woman. He made a good impression upon the jury in the witness box. Nevertheless, on the evidence, he was certainly guilty. I summed up accordingly, and the jury came back with a verdict of guilty. In passing sentence of death, I fully concurred with the verdicts. The appeal was lodged on the grounds of misdirection. The appeal was dismissed. I wish to say this before you all. My conscience is clear on the matter. I passed sentence on a rightfully convicted murderer.
Did you know Sent at all? I mean, personally?
Nothing previous to the trial. Oh, boy's lying. I swear he's lying.
Fellow's a madman. Absolute madman. Got a bee in his bonnet. Got a hold of the wrong end of the stick all around. Best to really leave these sort of things unanswered. However, I feel like to say no truth. No truth in whatever he said about young Arthur Richmond. Richmond was one of my officers. I sent him a reconnaissance in 1917. He was killed. I'd also like to say, is that very much slur on my wife. Been dead a long time, best woman in the world. Absolutely, Caesar's wife.
Don't actually know the Owens. Don't actually know the Owens. John and Lucy Combs. Must have been a couple of kids I ran over near Cambridge. Beastly bad luck.
For them or for you?
Well, I was thinking for me, but of course you're right, sir. It was damn bad luck for them too. Of course it was pure accident. They must have rushed out of some cottage or other. A beastly nuisance.
This speech, wrong. All wrong. Young people like you are a danger to this community.
Well, I couldn't help it. Just an accident.
Might I say a word, sir?
Go ahead, Rogers.
There was a mention, sir, of me and Mrs. Rogers and Miss Jennifer Brady. There's a word of truth in it. We were with Miss Brady when she died. She was always in her help, always, from the time we came to her. There was a storm, sir, the night she died. The telephone was out of order. We couldn't get the doctor from there. On time, sir. I remember, sir, on foot, but he got there too late. We did everything for her, sir. Devoted to her everywhere. Anyone would have told you the same. There was never a word said against us. Never a word.
Giving you a nice little something on her death, I suppose. Didn't you?
Miss Brady left us a legacy of recognition of our faithful service. And why not? I'd like to know.
What about you yourself, Mr. Bloor?
What about me?
Your name was on the list.
I know. Lander, you mean. That was the London commercial bank robbery.
I remember the name, although it didn't come before me. Lander was convicted on your evidence. You're the police officer in charge of his case.
I was.
Lander was sentenced to penal servitude. He died in Dartmoor a year later. He was a delicate man.
He was a crook. It was him who put the night watchman down. The case was clear from the start.
We're complimented on your able handling of the case, I think.
I got my promotion. I was only doing my duty.
Convenient word. Duty. What about you, Doctor? I'm at a loss to understand the matter. The name meant nothing to me. What was it? Cleese? Close? I don't recall having a patient with that name, or it's being connected with a death in any sort of way. It's a mystery. Of course, it's a long time ago. It could be one of my cases in hospital. These people, they come too late, and then when they die, it's always the surgeon's fault.
Then it's better to give up surgery and take up nerve cases. Some, of course, give up drink.
I protest. You have no right to insinuate that. I never touch alcohol.
My dear fellow, I never suggested you did. Anyway, Mr. Unknown Owen is the one with all the facts. Miss Claythorne?
I was nursery governess to Peter Hamilton. We were in Cornwall for the summer, and he was forbidden to swim out far. One day, when my attention was distracted, he started off. I went after him as soon as I noticed, but I couldn't get there in time.
Was there an inquest?
Yes, I was exonerated by the coroner. His mother didn't blame me either.
Thank you. Miss Brent.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing?
Nothing.
You reserve your defense.
There is no question in defense. I've always acted according to the dictates of my conscience.
What a lot by law we seem to be. Myself accepted.
We're waiting on your story, Captain Lombard.
I haven't got a story.
What do you mean?
Sorry to disappoint you all. It's just that I plead guilty. Frivolous trail left those names all in the bush. Matter of self-preservation.
You abandoned your men?
Not quite the act of Pugama, I'm afraid. After all, self-preservation is man's first duty. And natives don't mind dying, you know. They don't feel better as Europeans do.
There lies our inquest. Now, Rogers, are you sure there is no one besides ourselves and you and your wife on this island?
No, my sir.
You sure about that?
Quite sure, sir.
Thank you. Don't move your Rogers. I'm not yet sure as to our unknown host's reason for getting us to assemble here. In my opinion, he's not sane in the accepted sense of the word. Could be dangerous. In my opinion, we should leave as soon as possible. I suggest we leave tonight.
I'm sorry to bother you, sir, but there's no boat here.
No boat at all?
No, sir.
Why don't you come from the mainland?
There's no telephone either. Where's their car? He comes over every morning. He brings the milk and bread and puts in the bakery and takes the orders.
A bit unsporting. Ought to ferret out some mystery before we go. Whole thing's like a detective story, positively thrilling.
I have no time for thrills at my time of life.
The legal librarian, I'm all for crime. Here's to it.
My God, he's dead.
Dead? You mean the fellow just choked and died?
You can call it choking if you like. He died of asphyxiation right enough.
I never knew a man could just die of a choking fit.
In the middle of life, you aren't dead.
A man doesn't just die of a mere choking fit, General Mackenzie. Arson's death isn't what we call a natural one.
Was there something in the whiskey?
Yes, the smell of it, cyanide. Probably potassium cyanide, acts pretty well instantaneously.
Then he must have put the stuff in the glass himself.
Suicide, eh? That's a rum go.
You wouldn't think he'd commit suicide. He was still alive. He was enjoying himself.
Oh look, one of the Indians on the mantelpiece. It's broken.
We've been up to the top. There's not that boat yet.
It's very early still.
Oh, I know. Still felt brings the milk and bread and all that. Should have thought he had been here before this. Where's the fellow Rogers? Is the ready breakfast yet?
Oh, don't. Let's bother about breakfast.
How's the weather coming?
Wind's freshened up a bit. Rather mackerel sky. Well, when the train yesterday afternoon said we were due for some dirty weather. Should I wonder if he wasn't right?
I wish that boat would come. The sooner we're on this island, the better. It's absurd not to keep a boat on an island.
No proper harbor. The wind which comes from the southeast, the boat would be dashed to pieces against the rocks.
But a boat would always be able to make us from the mainland.
No, Miss Brent. That's just what it wouldn't.
So you're saying we should be cut off from the land?
Yes, condensed smoke, Revita, and two stuff when the gale had blown itself out. But you get worried. The sea's only a bit choppy.
I think the pleasures of living on the island are rather overrated.
Wonder when that boat's coming. Knowing how the house is built slap up against the cliff, you can't see the main island until you've gone all the way to the top.
Shall we go up there again?
It's no good, Doctor. A watch pot never boils. Besides, there's no sign of the boat putting out when we were out there just now.
What can this man Narracott be doing?
They're all like that in Devon. Never hurry themselves.
And where's Rogers? He ought to be about.
If you ask me, Master Rogers was pretty badly rattled last night.
I know. He has to do the whole thing.
Got the window properly. I take it even bet that he and his wife did do that old lady.
You really think so?
Never seen me more scared. Guilty as hell, I should say.
Fantastic. The whole thing fantastic.
I say, Suppose he talked to him?
Who, Rogers? The only way he could. There's no one on the island. You just said so.
Yes, but I've been thinking. We've only Rogers' word for that. Suppose there is a fellow he nipped off in the first thing.
Oh no, he wouldn't be allowed to leave the island.
Sleep well, General?
I dream. Yes, I dream.
I don't wonder at that.
I dream of Leslie, my wife, you know.
Oh, yes. I wish that fellow Narcop would come.
Who's never come?
The little brought us over yesterday afternoon.
Was it only yesterday?
Yes, I feel like that too. That he grabbed phone records, suicides, spat old man Stan. Chapter sorry to see the back of me, and I gave you my word.
So you don't understand. How strange.
What's that, General?
I like the look of him.
I reckon young Marston's suicide must have been a pretty bad shock to him. He looks years older.
Where is that poor young fellow now?
In the study, but I'm there myself.
Dr. Armstrong, I suppose it was suicide?
What else could it be?
I don't know, but suicide.
You know, I had a pretty funny feeling in this way. This Mr. Unknown Owen. Suppose he's here on the island. Rogers may have known. Or he may have told him to say so. Pretty nice thought, isn't it?
But wouldn't it be possible for anyone to slip something into Marston's drink without our seeing?
Well, it was just standing right there. Anyone could have dropped a dollop of cyanide in it if they wanted to.
But that...
Oh, there you are, sir. I've been looking all over the place for you. Could you come up and have a look at my work, sir?
I guess, of course, she's still feeling under the weather.
See?
You want me to get on time?
Oh, I wish that boat would come. I hate this place.
Yes, the sooner we get in contact with the police, the better.
The police?
The police have to be notified in case of suicide, Miss Clayton.
Yes, of course.
What's going on here? No sign of any breakfast?
Are you hungry, General? Feeling like breakfast?
Leslie, I'm right here.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm Dara Claythorne.
Of course. Forgive me, I took you for my wife.
Oh,
I was waiting for you, see?
but I thought your wife died long ago.
Yes, I thought so too. But I was wrong. She's here, on this island.
Good morning.
Good morning, Captain Lamar.
Good morning. Seemed I've overslept myself. Both here yet?
No.
Bit late, isn't it?
Yes.
Good morning. You and I could have had a swim before breakfast. Too bad of us.
Too bad you overslept yourself.
You must have good nerves to sleep like that.
Nothing makes me lose my sleep.
Didn't dream of any African natives by any chance, did you?
No, you dream of convicts on Dartmoor?
Look here, I don't think that's very funny, Captain Lamar.
Well, you started it, you know. I'm hungry. What about breakfast?
The whole domestic staff got gone on strike.
Oh. Well, we got a storage for ourselves.
Hello. That's strange.
What is?
Do you remember we found one of these little fellows smashed last night?
Yes, that ought to leave 9.
That ought to leave 9. I was certain that there was 10 of them when we first arrived.
Yes, that ought to leave 9. Well?
There are only 8.
So there are.
I think that's strange, don't you?
Probably only 9 to begin with. Thought their 10 just arrived. Well, Armstrong, what's the matter?
Mrs. Rogers is... Mrs. Rogers is dead.
No! How?
Died in her sleep. Rogers thought she was still under the effect of the sleeping draught I'd given her and came down without disturbing anyone. He lit the fire in the room. Then as she hadn't come down, he went up, was alarmed by the look of her, and came looking for me. She had been dead about 5 hours, I should say.
What was it, heart?
Impossible to say. It could have been.
After all, she had a pretty bad shock last night.
Yeah, she did.
You suppose it could have been poison, Doctor?
It's possible. Same stuff as young Marston? No, not cyanide. It had to be some sort of narcotic or hypnotic, one of the barbiturates or chloral, something like that.
You gave her some sleeping powders last night, didn't you?
Yes, a mild dose of luminol.
Didn't give her too much, did you?
Certainly not. What do you mean?
All right, no offense, no offense. I just thought that perhaps if she had any harm.
The amount I gave her could not have hurt anyone.
Then what exactly did happen?
Impossible to say without autopsy.
Suppose this case had happened to one of your private patients. How would you go about it?
Without any prior knowledge of the woman's state of health, I could certainly not give a certificate.
She was a very nervous-looking creature, and she had a bad fright last night. Perhaps it was heart failure.
Her heart certainly failed to beat, but what caused it to fail?
Conscience.
What exactly do you mean by that, sir?
You all heard the accusation last night. She was accused together with lady.
And you believe that's true, Miss Brent?
Certainly, you all saw her last night. She broke down completely and fainted. The shock of having her wickedness brought on the door was too much for her. She literally died of fear.
It is a possible theory. One cannot adopt it without more exact knowledge of the woman's state of health. If there was a latent cardiac weakness...
Call it, if you prefer, an act of God.
Oh no, Miss Brent.
You regard it as impossible that a sinner should be struck down by the wrath of God. I do not.
My dear, in all my experience of ill-doing, Providence leaves the work of chastisement to us mortals. It is often fraught with difficulty. There are no shortcuts.
Let's be practical. What did a woman have to eat and drink last night after she went to bed?
Nothing.
Nothing? Nothing at all? Not a cup of tea or a glass of water? I'll bet you she had a cup of tea. That store always does.
Rogers assures me she had nothing whatsoever.
He might say so.
So that's your idea.
Well, why not? You all heard the accusations last night. What if it's true? Miss Brent thinks it is for one. He and his Mrs. Stingy about the lady, and they're feeling quite safe and happy about it.
Happy?
Well, they know there's no immediate danger to them. Then, last night, what happened? Some lunatic goes and spills the beans. Did you see him hanging around her while she was coming to? Not with husbandly solicitude. He drops a nice little dollop of something to a nice cup of tea, and when she's had it, he washes the cup and saucer and tells the doctor she ain't had nothing.
No, that's impossible. A man wouldn't do that. Not to his wife.
You'd be surprised, Miss Claiborne, what some husbands would do.
Excuse me, miss. I'm getting on with breakfast. I'm not much of a hand as a cook, I'm afraid. It's lunch that's worrying me. Would cold tongue and gelatin be satisfactory? And I can manage some fried potatoes, and there's thin fruit and cheese and biscuits.
That will be fine, Rogers.
Lunch? Lunch? We can't be here for lunch. And when the hell is that boat coming?
Mr. Blore!
What?
You'll pardon me, sir, but the boat's not coming.
What?
Fred Narracot's always here before 8. Is there anything else you require, miss?
No, thank you, Rogers.
And it isn't Rogers. His wife's laying dead upstairs, and there he is cooking breakfast and talking calmly about lunch. Now that he says the boat isn't coming, what the hell does he know? Mr. Blore! What?
Oh, don't you see? He's dazed. He's simply carrying on automatically as a good servant would. It's pathetic, really.
Well, if that's one, if you ask me.
What's more important is the failure of the boat to arrive. They're being deliberately cut off from help.
It's very little time, very little time.
What's that, General?
It's very little time. And we mustn't waste it talking about things that don't matter.
What do you think Narracot has turned out? The ubiquitous Mr. Roman's orders. Being told it's a practical joke or something of that kind.
You never fall for that, would you?
Why not? Any lion's got a reputation for having crazy parties. It's just another crazy idea. Narracot knows there's plenty of food and drink on the island. Probably thinks it's all just a huge joke.
Couldn't we light a bonfire at the top of the island so that they'd see it?
That's probably been provided against. Also to be ignored. Cut off alright.
Or can't we do something?
We can do something. Find the funny gentleman who staged this little joke. Because in my opinion, it's as mad as a hatter and as dangerous as a rattlesnake.
Captain Lombard, rattlesnake's hardly a good simile. At least the rattlesnake warns of its approach.
Warning? My God, that's our warning. 10 little Indian boys. There were 10 of us after Narracot left, weren't there? 10 little Indian boys going out to dine. One choked himself. Marston choked himself, did he not? 9 little Indian boys sat there licked. One overslept himself. Overslept himself? The last part plays rather well, don't you think?
You don't mean... You think he wants to kill us all?
Yes, I think he does.
And each one fits the rhyme.
Oh, no, it's coincidence. It must be coincidence.
Only 8 little Indian boys here. Suppose that's coincidence too. What do you think, boy?
I don't like it.
Well, there's nobody on the island.
I'm not so sure of that.
This is terrible. None of us are ever getting off this island.
Can't somebody shut up, Grandpa?
Don't you agree with me, Sir Lawrence?
Up to a point, yes.
The sooner we get started, the better. Come on, Armstrong, come on, boy. Make short work of it.
I'm ready. No one's got a revolver on them by any chance. I suppose that's too much to hope for.
I've got one.
Always carry that about with you?
Usually. Been in some tight places, you know.
Oh. Well, I bet you've never been in a tighter place than you are today. There's some homicidal maniac on the island. He'll have a whole arsenal, and he'll use it.
You may be wrong there, Blore. Many homesteading maniacs are very quiet and sweet people.
Delightful fellows.
You'd never guess there was anything wrong with them.
Well, if he turns out to be one of that kind, we'll leave him to you, Doctor. Now then, let's make a start. I suggest Captain Lombard searches the house while we do the iron.
Right. Outside would be easy. No sliding panels or hidden doors.
Mind he doesn't get you before you get him.
I'll be quite alright. You two better stick together though. Remember, one got left behind.
Come on.
What an energetic young man, Captain Lombard.
Don't you think he's right? If there's someone hiding on the island, they're bound to find him eventually. It's practically bare rock.
I think this problem requires brains, not bronze to solve.
Well, where are you going?
I'm going to sit up in the sun and think, my dear young lady.
Where did I put that ski bubble?
Did you leave it upstairs? Shall I see if I can find it?
No. I'll go. I know it's likely to be.
I'm glad Captain Lombard brought a revolver.
We're all wasting time, wasting time.
Do you think so?
Yes, it's much better to sit quietly and wait.
Wait, for what?
For the end, of course. I wish I could find Leslie.
Your wife?
Yes, I wish you'd known her. She was so pretty, so gay.
Was she?
I loved her very much. Of course, I was a lot older than she was. She was only 27, you know. Arthur Richmond was 26. He was my ADC. Leslie liked her. They used to talk of music and plays together. She teased him and made fun of him. I was pleased. I thought she took a motherly interest in the boy. Damn fool, wasn't I? No fool like an old fool. Exactly like the book the way I found out. When I was out in France, she wrote to the both of us. She put the letters in the wrong envelope, so I knew.
Oh, no.
It's all right, my dear. It was a long time ago. You see, I loved her very much and believed in her. I didn't say anything to him. I let it gather inside here. A slow, murderous rage. Damn young him because I liked the boy, trusted him.
I wonder what the others are doing.
I sent him to his death.
Oh.
It was quite easy. Mistakes were being made all the time. All anyone could say was that I lost my nerve a bit. Made a blunder. Sacrificed one of my best men. It was quite easy. Leslie never knew. I never told her I found out. We went on as usual, but somehow nothing felt quite as real anymore. She died of pneumonia. She had a heart-shaped face, and gray eyes, and brown beautiful hair that curled.
Oh, don't.
Yes, I suppose in a way it was murder. Curious. Murder! And I've always been such a law-abiding man. It didn't feel that way at the time. Serves him damn well right. That's what I thought. But after, well, you know, don't you?
What do you mean?
You don't seem to understand. I thought you would. I thought you'd be glad too. At the end is coming? We're all gonna die, you know.
I don't know.
You're very young. You haven't gotten to that yet. The relief, the blessed relief that you've known that you've done with it all, that you haven't got to carry the burden any longer.
General.
Don't talk to me that way. You don't understand. I'm gonna sit here and wait. Wait for Leslie to come.
I'm frightened. Oh, I'm frightened.
All correct. No secret passages. One corpse.
Don't.
I say, you do look rather low, my dear. Have a drink to steady the nerves.
A drink? A drink? 2 corpses in the house at 9 o'clock, and what do you have to say? Have a drink! An old man going quite rappers. Have a drink! 10 people accused of murder. Oh, that's all right. Just have a drink. Everything's fine so long as you have a drink.
Okay. Stay thirsty then.
Oh, you're nothing but a waster, an adventurer. You make me tired.
I say, you aren't head up. What's the matter, my sweet?
I'm not your sweet.
Sorry, I thought you were.
Well, you can think again.
Come now, you really don't feel like that. You and I have something in common. Rogues and murderers can't fall out.
Rogues and murderers.
Okay, you don't like the company of rogues and murderers. And you won't have a drink. I'll finish searching.
Unpleasant, young man. Can't find it anywhere. Is anything the matter?
I'm worried about the general. He really does seem ill.
Looking out for the boat, General? His sin has found him out.
Oh, don't.
Kennedy, One must respect.
Can any of us really afford to throw stones?
Even if his wife is no better than she should be, and she must have been a depraved woman, he had no right to take judgment into his own hands.
What about Beatrice Taylor?
Who?
That was the name, wasn't it?
Are you referring to the absurd accusation about myself?
Yes.
Well, now without alone, I have no objection to telling you the facts of the case. Indeed, I shall like you to hear them. It was not a fit subject to discuss for a gentleman, so naturally I refused to say anything last night. That girl, Beatrice Taylor, was in my service. I was very deceived in her. She had nice manners and was clean and willing. I was very pleased with her. But of course, that was all the sheerest hypocrisy. She was a loose girl with no morals. Disgusting. It was some time before I found out she was what they call in trouble. It was a great shock to me. Her parents were decent folks too, who had brought her up strictly. I'm glad to see they didn't condone her behavior.
What happened?
Naturally, I refused to keep her an hour under my roof. No one shall ever say I condoned immorality.
Did she drown herself?
Yes.
How old was she?
17.
Only 17?
Quite old enough to know how to behave. I told her what a low, depraved thing she was, and that she was beyond the pale. I told her that her child would be the child of sin and would be branded all of its life, and that the man would not naturally dream of marrying her. I told her I felt soiled by ever having her under my roof.
You told a girl of only 17 all that?
Yes, I'm glad to say I broke her down utterly.
Poor little devil.
I have no patience with this indulgence towards sin.
And then I suppose you turned her from your house.
Of course.
And she didn't dare return home. What did you feel like when you found she drowned herself?
Feel like?
Yes. Didn't you blame yourself?
Of course not. I had nothing which to reproach myself with.
I believe you really felt like that. And that makes it all the more horrible.
That girl's unbalanced. Shall the wicked be turned into hell?
Breakfast is ready.
Be quiet.
Excuse me, miss, but where's the gentleman? Breakfast is ready.
Sir Lawrence Wargrave is sitting outside in the sun, and Dr. Armstrong and Mr. Bloor are searching the island. I shouldn't bother them.
Shall not the isles shake at the sound of the fall, when the wounded cry, when the slaughter is made in midst of thee?
Shall we go in?
I don't feel like eating.
Breakfast is ready.
They shall clothe themselves with the trembling, and they shall sit and tremble upon the ground, and be astonished at thee. Reading aloud, Miss Park? It is my custom to read a portion of the Bible every day.
Very good habit. Sure.
What luck did you have?
There's no cover on the island, no caves. Nobody could hide anywhere.
That's right. What about the house, Lombard?
No one. I'll stake my life on that there's no one in this house besides ourselves. Then over from attic to cellar. Breakfast is getting cold. Breakfast! Come on, boy, you can be up for breakfast all morning. Let's eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Or perhaps even today.
You ought to be ashamed of such levity, Captain Lombard.
Come on, General. Can't have this. Breakfast, I say, sir. Good God! One got left behind. There's a knife in General Mackenzie's bag. He's dead. He's dead!
But he can't be. There's only us on the island.
Exactly, my dear sir. Don't you realize that this clever and cunning criminal is always comfortably one stage ahead of us? That he knows exactly what we're going to do and plans accordingly? There's only one place a murderer can hide and successfully get away with it.
One place? Where?
Mr. Owen is one of us!
Sir Lawrence?
Well, Mr. Bloor?
I wanted to get you alone. You were right in what you said this morning. This damn murderer is one of us. And I think I know who.
Really?
Ever heard of the Lizzie Borden case? In America. An old couple killed with an axe in the middle of the morning. The only one who could have done it was the daughter. A respectable, middle-aged spinster. Incredible. Still incredible that they acquitted her. But they never found any other explanation.
Your answer to the problem is Miss Emily Brent.
And to me, that woman is as mad as a hatter. I tell you, she's the one that we must watch her.
Really, I formed the impression your suspicions were in a different corner.
Yes, but I changed my mind. And I'll tell you why. She isn't scared. She's the only one who isn't. Because she knows quite well she's in a...
We've made some coffee. It's cold in here.
Hardly believe it when you see what a beautiful day it was this morning.
Are Captain Lombard and Roger still out?
Yes, no boat could fit out on this. Couldn't land anyway.
Miss Brent?
Follow me.
You were right to suggest our going to lunch and drinking some brandy with it. I feel better.
The port always adjourns for lunch.
All the same, it's a nightmare. It feels as though none of it is true. What are we going to do about it?
We will hold an informal court of inquiry. There we can at least eliminate the incidents.
You haven't got a hunch of any kind, have you, Miss Claiborne?
A rather awkward question if she suspects any of the three of us.
I don't suspect it's any of you. As a matter of fact, if you ask me who I suspected, I'd say it's Dr. Armstrong.
Armstrong?
Yes. Don't you see? He's had far and away the easiest chance at killing Mrs. Rogers. He could have easily given her an overdose of sleeping stuff.
Yes, but someone else gave her the brandy, remember?
Her husband had a good chance of administering drugs.
It isn't Rogers. He hasn't got the brains to pull off this stuff, nor the money. Besides, anyone can see he's scared stiff.
Oh my God, it's something like a storm.
Oh, it's only you.
Who did you think it was? Beatrice Taylor?
I'm hope the rest of thy size now. Is that coffee? Take your coffee now, you see.
Such restraint in the face of danger is nothing short of heroic.
I do not declare myself to be a weather prophet, but even if we both knew of our plight under 24 hours, it would be able to get to us. Even if the wind dies down, the sea still has to go down.
You're very wet.
Is anyone a swimmer? Would it be possible to swim to the mainland?
It's over a mile, and in this sea you'd be dashed on the rocks and drowned.
Drowned, oh.
Pardon me, Miss Brent.
After dinner now.
Oh, it's terribly cold in here.
I can light the fireplace if you like, please.
That would be a good idea.
Very sound scheme. Does anyone know what's become of the top bathroom curtain? Really, Rogers? Are you going past too?
The bathroom curtain?
Yes, sir. Scarlet oil silk. It's missing. Has anybody seen a scarlet oil silk curtain? No good, I'm afraid, Rogers. It doesn't matter, sir. Only I just thought it was odd. Everything on this island is odd. I'll get some sticks and a few lumps of coal and get a nice fire going.
Oh, I wonder if we'd like some coffee. It's terribly wet. Rogers! Rogers!
What's become of Armstrong?
He went up to his room to rest.
Someone's probably better than one by now.
I expect he had the good sense to bolt his door.
Won't be so easy now that we're all on our guard.
I wouldn't be so confident, though. I would like shortly to propose measures of security, which I think we should all adopt.
Against whom?
Each other. Of the 10 of us who came to the island, 3 of us with death certain and clear. There are 7 of us left. 7 little Indian boys.
One of which is a bogus little Indian boy.
Exactly.
Well, in spite of what Miss Claiborne said just now, I'd say that you, Sir Lawrence, and Dr. Armstrong are above suspicion. You're known all over England. He's a well-known doctor.
That proves nothing, Lord. Judges have gone mad, so have doctors. Policemen have gone mad.
Here. Does he want some coffee?
He'd rather make himself a nice cup of tea. What about Dr. Armstrong? Should we bring him up a cup?
Allow me, I'll bring it up. I'll take it to him. I'd like to change.
You should. You'll catch a cold.
Dr. Armstrong might prefer to see me. He might not admit he might be scared of your revolver.
Yes, that revolver. I'd like to word with you about that.
Do go and change.
What were you going to say?
I'd like to know why you brought a revolver on what's supposed to be a little social visit.
You do you? Led a rather adventurous life. Gotten in a big jam once or twice. It's a pleasant feeling to have a gun handy. Wouldn't you agree?
We don't carry them. Now then, I want the truth about this gun.
What a damn suspicious fellow you are, Lord.
I know a fishy story when I hear one.
It was about that revolver. I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Oh. Well, I was invited as a guest at Mr. and Mrs. Owen. The letter said they had heard I was a good man in a tight spot. So they'd be a bit of danger, but I'd be okay if I kept my eyes open.
I never fallen for that.
Well, I did. I was bored. God, I was conqueror of that tame country. It's an intriguing proposition, I must admit.
A little too vague for my liking.
That was part of the charm. Roused my curiosity.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Yes, quite.
Oh, do go and change, please.
I'm going, my sweet. I'm going. The maternal instinct, I think it's called?
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
That's a tall story. If it's true, why didn't you tell it to us last night?
Perhaps he thinks this is the situation he had been prepared for.
Perhaps it is.
Now that I think about it now. It was just Mr. Owen's little bit of cheese to get us in the trap with the rest of us. He knew well enough to rely on his curiosity.
It is true he's wrong in that one, but trust me, are.
Are you such a good judge of truth?
We must get out of here! We must get out of here before it's too late! We mustn't give away to our nerves!
Yes, rather a case of physician, heal thyself, but I've been overworked and run down.
Sleeping badly.
Yes, I keep dreaming. Hospitals, operations, a knife at my throat.
Real nightmares.
Yes, do you ever dream you're in court sentencing a man to death?
Are you by any chance referring to Edward Seton? I should not lose any sleep over Edward Seton, a particularly cold-blooded murderer. The jury was inclined to let him go. They liked him. However, I could see I cooked Seton's goose.
Oh, it's cold in here.
I wish Rogers would hurry up.
Yes, he's been a long time. Where is he?
He said he'd gone to get some sticks.
Sticks? Sticks, my God, sticks!
My God!
What's the matter? Are there only 6?
Only 5.
5?
Rogers Longboard!
Oh no! Rogers! Rogers!
But that was blood running off to like a madman.
Oh, Helen,
Have you seen Rogers?
No, why should I?
2 more of the Indians are gone. 2?
I thought it was you.
Well, what is it?
In the scullery.
Is he?
Oh yes, he's dead already.
How?
With an axe, someone must have got him out of his bed with a wood box.
One chopped himself in half. And there were 6.
Stop it.
She'll be alright. What's next, boys? Bees? You got bees on the island? That is the next verse, isn't it?
You're right, there are only 5.
Oh, Louis sung one. They all look pretty spry. My God, you don't think. I remember strange.
The modern-day bee sting!
Oh, she was back there. One of us.
One of us.
Which of us?
Five little Indian boys sitting in a row, watching each other wait for the blow. New version up to date.
I hardly think now is the time for facetiousness.
Had to relieve the blow. Damn, that electric arm went down. Let's play a nice smart game. How about inventing one called Suspicions? A suspects B, B suspects C, so on. Start with Glore. It's not hard to guess who the Glore suspects. Sticks out of mine. I'm your fancy contract for you.
I'm going to say no to that.
You're wrong, you know. Abstract justice isn't my line. But then better not put something in it for me.
All I say is that you acted suspiciously from the start. You told 2 different stories. You come here with a revolver, now you say you've lost it?
I have lost it.
That's a likely story.
What do you think I've done with it? I suggested myself you should search me.
You haven't got it on you. You're too clever for that.
mean,
You know
I-
where it is.
You know, if cash ready for the next time.
I shouldn't be surprised.
Why don't you use your brains, Glore? If I was the murderer, I could have shot the lot of them by now. Pop, 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 pop.
Yes, but that isn't the big idea now, is it?
The crazy touch. My God, man, I'm saying enough.
The doctor said there were lunatics you never knew were lunatics. That's true enough, I'd say.
We can't just sit here. We can't just sit here and do nothing. There must be something. Surely there must be something we can do. Such as the bonfire idea.
In this weather,
It is, I'm afraid, a question of time and patience. The weather will clear, and then we can do something. Light a bonfire, heliograph, signal.
A question of time? We can't afford time. We shall all be dead.
The measures we are adopting now are adequate.
I tell you, we shall all be dead, all but one. I'll think of something. He's thinking now.
Poor Luis. What was it? Class? Was it the nerves that made you do it, doctor?
No. Drink. I used to be a heavy drinker. Thought I was drunk when I operated. Quite a simple operation, but my hands shaking all over the place. I can remember her now. A big, heavy, contrite woman, and I killed her.
Sounds right. That's how it was.
Sister knew, but she was loyal to me, or to the hospital. I gave up drink, gave it up altogether. I went in for a study of nervous diseases.
Very successfully.
1 or 2 lucky shots, good results with 1 or 2 important women. They talk with their friends. For the last year or 2, I've been so busy, I've hardly known where to turn. I got into the top of the tree.
Until Mr. Unknown Owen and down from the cradle of Dr. Hall.
Will you stop your damnable sneering and joking? Gentlemen, gentlemen, cannot afford to quarrel.
That's okay by me. I apologize.
It's this awful inactivity that gets on my nerves. We're adopting, I feel convinced, the only measures possible. If we remain within sight of each other, a repetition of the tragedies that have occurred must be impossible. We've all undergone a search. We know that no man is armed with firearm or knife, nor any cyanide or drug on his person. If we keep remaining, do as I say, and remain within sight of each other, nothing shall happen. But we can't go on like this. We should eat food, sleep.
That's what I say.
The murderer's only chance is to get one of us detached from the rest. If we prevent that, we shall be safe. Safe?
You're very silent, Vera.
There isn't anything to say. I wonder what the time is. It's just awful waiting for the hours to go by and feeling as though they may be the last. What is the time?
8:30.
Is that all?
Pretty awful like this. How the candles rolling out.
So the packet left. Storm's dying down a bit. What do you say, sir?
Perhaps. We mustn't be too optimistic. The murderer's got everything on his side. Even the weather seems to be falling in with his plans.
Well, what about something to eat?
I could open some tongue and make some coffee, but you four stay here. That's right, isn't it?
You would be advisable to eat something prepared out of our sight, Miss Claythorne.
Oh, you don't like me, do you?
It's not a question of dislikes or likes.
If you won't be offended by my saying so, sir, you're my fancy.
None of us, Captain Lombard, have the luxury to indulge in offense.
I don't believe it's galore. I don't think he's got the imagination for this kind of job. If you're the criminal, hats off to you. You're a damn fine doctor.
Thank you for nothing.
I don't believe it's a doctor. I don't think he's got the nerves. You, on the other hand, have the nerves, Vera. Though you strike me as eminently sane, you'd only do murder if you had a thoroughly good motive.
Thank you.
I thought of something.
Splendid. Animal, vegetable, or mineral.
That man said he's a police officer, but we've no proof of that. He only set off the gramophone record. Before that, he was claiming to be a South African billionaire. Perhaps the police officer is another impersonation. We know absolutely nothing about him.
He's a police officer, all right? Look at his feet.
That's enough from you, Mr. Lombard.
Well, now we know where we are. By the way, Doctor, Miss Clifton suspects you. Oh, yes, she does. Have you seen her shoot the dirty lip from time to time? I suspect Sir Lawrence, Laura suspects me, Armstrong suspects Laura. That works out quite prettily. What about you, sir?
Earlier in the day, I came to form a certain conclusion. The events that occurred have pointed me quite unmistakably to that person. I'm still of the same opinion.
Which one?
Well, no. I think it is advisable to mention their name at the moment. Exactly.
Well, what about the food idea?
Oh no, let's stay here. We're safe here.
I can't say I'm hungry myself.
Tell you what, how about I go and bring back into the business?
Good idea. Oh, Lawrence.
Good?
It's cold in here. What happened to that bathroom curtain? The one that Rogers missed? Things seem to have been disappearing. Miss Brent also seen a knitting needle.
So the murderer, whoever he or she is a kleptomaniac too.
How does the rhyme go? 5 little Indian boys.
Going after the law, one Dr. Chancellor.
in Chancery, but how could that apply? Unless, of course...
That's exactly why I'm sitting here, my dear young lady. The term can apply to a boxer.
This is all horrifying. It keeps going round and round in my head. I feel as though I'll remember it till the day I die. Laura's been a long time.
I expect you to think that would stop. Captain Lombard, I've asked you to restrain your peculiar sense of humor. Surgeon!
No, thank you. How can I eat anything?
I don't see why you need to be so funny about it. Fighting ourselves won't do us any good.
I'm gonna be going upstairs. You four stay here.
Erner's in a bad state.
That's right, I disagree with you there, Doctor. Miss Claythorne strikes me as a very resourceful and cool young lady. Remarkably so.
So that's right. And she's the odd one out.
Hardly likely. A woman.
You and I's views of women are different, Doctor.
What does anyone say to a spot of whiskey?
Good idea. Ready to tackle an unequal ball?
Who's that?
Philip! Philip, where are you? I lost you! Why can't we have some light? It's awful in the dark. You don't know where you are. You don't know where anyone is. Where's Dr. Armstrong?
I'm hunting for the matches.
Never mind matches, get more candles.
I was horrified to death. It went right around my throat.
What did?
When I went upstairs to my room, the window was open. And when I opened the door, it blew out all the candles. Then, a long strand of seaweed came and touched my throat. It felt as though, in the dark, that I was being strangled by a wet hand. Who put that seaweed there?
I don't know. When I find out who he is, I'm sorry he was ever born.
Who's that?
Don't worry, Miss Claythorne. Only me.
Here we are. Who fired that shot?
Organ's dead. Shot to the head.
One got in Chancery. Then there were four.
Miss Claythorne?
You got me out of the way. You got me to go upstairs. You put that seaweed there. You did it all. So you can kill that helpless old man in the dark. You're mad. All of you. Crazy. That's why you wanted the red curtain in the knitting pool. It was all planned. Long ago. For that. Oh my God. Get me out of here.
3 little Indian boys sitting in a row, watching each other, or wondering as they go, so who's next to go.
I must say I was hungry, but I don't think I'll ever fancy eating Tim Tum again.
We've been nearly 24 hours without food. It does lure around.
Why is it? In the daylight, everything seems different.
You mustn't forget there's a crazy homicidal lunatic somewhere loose on the island.
Why is it one doesn't feel jittery about it anymore?
Because we know now, beyond any possible doubt, who it is. Ever.
That's right.
It was sitting there before, wondering which.
I said it all along. It was Dr. Armstrong.
You did, my sweet. You did. Until it pushed you on completely bad to suspect us all.
I must say, it does seem rather silly in the light of day.
Very silly.
Tell me that it is Armstrong. What's happened to him?
You know what he wants us to think happened to him?
What did you find?
One shoe. Just one shoe, sitting prettily there on the cliff edge. Inference? Dr. Armstrong's gone completely off in his onion and committed suicide.
Very circumstantial. Leave it to one little broken Indian over there. I think that's rather overdoing it. A man wouldn't do that if he planned on drowning himself.
Quite so, but we're fairly certain he didn't drown himself. And to make it appear as though he was the 7th victim, all according to the plan.
That is, supposing he really is dead?
I'm a bit suspicious of death without bodies.
How extraordinary that there are 5 dead bodies in there, and here we've been eating 10 tons.
The delightful feminine disregard for facts. There are 6 dead bodies, and they're not all men.
No. She's right. There's only 5.
What about Miss Rogers?
I counted her. She makes it fit.
Look here. Anthony Marston 1, Miss Rogers 2, General Mackenzie 3, Rogers 4, Emily Byrne 5, Wargrave 6. Wargrave 6.
7, 8, 9. Armstrong 10. That's right, old man. Sorry.
What do you think of the idea if we took Miss Rogers and took her in the morgue too?
I'm a detective, not a hunter. Oh, for heaven's sake, would you two stop talking about dead bodies? The point is Armstrong killed them.
But I realized it was Armstrong straight away.
How can you get hold of your phone?
Haven't the slightest idea.
What exactly did happen in the night?
Well, after you threw your fit of hysterics and locked yourself in the room, we all thought we better go to bed.
We all went to bed.
About an hour after, I heard some movement outside my room. Went to Bloor's room. He was there, all right. Went to Armstrong's room. It's empty. That's why I tapped on your door. Told you sit tight no matter what happened. Came down here and saw the window on the balcony was open, and my revolver was just sitting prettily beside it. No idea. Either it was an accident or he's crazy.
Where do you think he is now?
Lurking somewhere, waiting to take a crack at one of us.
We ought to search the house. Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Are you quite sure you heard no one moving after we went out?
Oh, I imagined all sorts of things, but nothing short of setting the house on fire would got me to unlock my door.
I see, just thoroughly suspicious.
What's the good of talking? I want to go after this.
What a dog of the bulldog breed you are, boy. Say, between friends and without prejudice, you did go in for that spot of perjury, didn't you?
Well, I suppose it won't make you know it's now. Neither was innocent, right? Between us, put him away for a trip. Mind you, I wouldn't have my telling you about that.
You thought we're on the same boat?
Well, I couldn't admit it for
across the door. Almost dead. Yes, crushed. Head stove in. Rick runs around the landing, holding a clock.
A bear? Oh, how ghastly! It's just awful childishness!
Yeah, I know. God, what a full blow was.
And now there are 2.
Yes, and we ought to be careful of ourselves.
We shan't do it. He'll get us. We'll never get off this island.
Oh, yes, you will. Haven't been beaten yet.
Don't you feel as though there's someone now? In this room? Watching and waiting?
That's just the nerves.
So you do feel it?
No, No, I don't.
Please, let's leave this house anywhere. Perhaps if that was a boat, then they'll see us.
Okay, go to the top island. Sheer cliff on the far side, and see if anybody comes to the house.
Anywhere is better than here.
Won't you be cold in that dress?
I'd be cold if I were dead.
Suppose so. Quick reconnaissance.
Be careful, Philip, please.
Hello, there's something washed up on the rocks.
What? It looks like a body.
You stay here. I'll go check it out. It's Armstrong. Drowned. Washed up at high water mark. Vera? There you are.
Was it Armstrong? Armstrong's body?
Yes, and now we know where we are.
Now we know where we are.
Pretty neat trick of yours with that wire. Old Wargrave always said you were dangerous.
You?
So you did drown that kid after all.
No, that's where you're wrong. It wasn't me, it was someone else.
Who?
A man. Peter's uncle. I was in love with him.
Go on, this is interesting.
Don't sneer. It was hell. Absolute hell. Peter was born after his father's death. If he would have been a girl, he would have got everything.
Old tale of the wicked uncle.
Oh yes, he was wicked. But I didn't know. He said that he loved me, but that he was too poor to marry me. There was a rock that Peter was always wanting to swim out to. But of course I didn't let him. It was dangerous. And one day, when we were on the beach, I'd forgotten something. When I come back from the house to the rock, Peter was already swimming out to it. I knew that he didn't stand a chance. The current had already gotten him. I ran toward the beach, but Hugh stopped me. Don't be a fool, he said. I told the little ass to do it.
Go on, this is interesting.
I ran past him. He tried to stop me, but I flew towards the beach and swam into the water after Peter. I couldn't get there in time.
Everything went off well at the inquest. Said you're a plucky girl, but you kept discreetly quiet about Hugh's part in the business.
Do you think anyone would have believed me? Besides, I couldn't. I really was in love with him.
Well, it's a pretty story. I suppose Hugh let you down?
Do you really think I ever wanted to see him again?
Certainly an accomplished liar, Vera.
Can't you believe the truth when you hear it?
Who's the person that set the trap that killed Bloor? I didn't. And Armstrong's dead. I've broken most of the commandments in my time, and I'm no saint. But if there's one thing I won't stand for, that's murder.
You won't stand for murder. What about those natives you left to die in Africa?
That's what's so damn funny. I didn't.
What?
For once. Just once, mark you. Played the hero. Risked my life to save the lives of my men. Left them my rifle and ammunition and all the food there was. Took a chance in the bush. But the most incredible luck came off, wasn't in time to save them. And right around that deliberately abandoned my men. That's life for you.
Do you really expect me to believe that? Why, you actually admitted the whole thing.
Should have seen the look on their faces.
You can't expect to fool me with a stupid lie like that.
Blast you.
Why didn't I see it there before? It's there, in your face, the face of a killer.
You can't fool me any longer.
Oh, now!
You cunning little devil.
You take one step closer, now shoot!
You young, lovely, and quite mad. My tender Indian plan. My rhyme! My rhyme! Yes. Don't be frightened.
It's all right, don't be frightened. This is the court of justice. You'll get justice here. Yes, you thought I was dead. You thought I was a ghost. Armstrong said I was dead. But that, of course, was part of my clever little plan. Yes, he said it was a clever plan. He said we'd fix up the murder. So we'd fix up my death so I could be free to spy upon the guilty one. Oh, yes. He came to meet me that night by the cliff with no suspicion at all. I pushed him off so easily. He swallowed my red herring, all right. You know, Eric Claythorne, all my life I wanted to kill. I wanted to take life. But I had to get what enjoyment I could out of sentencing the guilty to death. But I wanted more. I wanted to take it with my own hands. But I'm a judge of the high court. I have a sense of justice. I'm the sovereign of the king and the prisoner at the bar. Will true deliverance make? Guilty. Guilty, my lord. Yes. Then you were all guilty. The law couldn't touch you, so I took it in my own hands. Silence in the court. Anthony Marshman first, Mrs. Rogers, Robert Tony the brandy, Mackenzie stabbed, got Rogers with an axe with Rogers chopping sticks. Don't Demery Brent's coffin so she couldn't feel the hypodermic. Got Laura with the booby trap. Laura was a fool. I knew Laura was gonna be easy. Prisoner at the bar, have you any reason as to why sentence should not be passed down upon you? Very well, Elizabeth Claythorne. I sentence you to death!
Stop it, please! I'm not guilty! I'm not guilty!
That's what they all say. They plead guilty. They plead not guilty. Unless, of course, you're going all out for a verdict for insanity. But you're not mad. I'm mad. You're not!
But I am innocent! Please, I swear! I didn't want to kill a boy! I didn't want to! You're a judge! You know if someone's guilty and whether innocent. I swear I'm telling the truth.
Oh, really? Well, that doesn't matter now.
What?
I can't spoil my rhyme, my 10 little Indian rhyme. One little Indian boy left all alone. He went and hanged himself. I need my hanging, my hanging!
Philip!
It's alright, my baby, it's alright.
I thought you were dead. I thought I killed you.
Thank God Tony can't shoot straight. At least not straight up. You know, there's another image of that 10 little Indian rhyme. One little Indian boy left all alone. We got married. And then there were none.